Good morning, everyone. Sandey Adelaja here, Kyiv, Ukraine. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Who is there? Shegun Fatuma, good morning. Victor Ogundikwe, Adedamola, Lola Shorunke, Elizabeth Ali, Rochelle White, Ifeoma, Bebe, Popola, Daniel, Kike, Glory, Flair Karim Matip, Edwin Amimi, Mayowa, good morning. Shigo, good morning. TY, good morning. Migdalia Fontanes, good morning. Andy De Jesus, morning. Mintabe, good morning. Joseph Olaya, morning. J. Champon, morning. Ola Martin, Mel G. Furo, Freddie Uche, Charles Smith, Andy De Jesus, Elizabeth, Ojekwa, Israel, Nkeshik Emma, Fumi Jeboda, Linus Baka, Kanaka Raju, Omolade Taye, Donan Mike, Paul Eric, Zenas Miki, Ephraim Nana, Didi, Jot Idowu, Onuegbu Nicholas, Awodu Shaus, Vivian Taylor, Shioma, Rod Baba, Layo Shaus Emmanuel, Awodu Shaus. You say you sent an email. I can't remember receiving an email from such a name unless you just sent it now. So check where you sent it to. My email is pastor@godembassy.org. Pastor@godembassy, not God's embassy, but God Embassy. God Embassy, one word. godembassy.org. Akimbowale Sunday. Akimbowale Sunday, did you receive, you sent me an email as well. Did you receive my reply? If you sent me an email and I didn't reply you, it means I didn't get it. Check it again. My email is pastor@godembassy.org. Pastor@godembassy.org. Or you could write me to my inbox here on Facebook. I will check it. I will check out if you, yeah. So Akimbowale Sunday said he's converting my book already into, my messages into books already. Okay, very good. But you need to do that in conjunction with me, though. You need to do that in conjunction with me so that we agree on it and we agree the process. So that you will not be accused of stealing, okay? So that it will not be plagiarism. Even though I tell people to go ahead and spread the word as much as they could. But still, you need to let me know what you are doing with it, with my stuff. Okay. Andy De Jesus, I love you, Pastor. Thank you. Ireti says, I'm here too. Okay, good. Nice to have all of you. Nice to see you all. Okay, here we go. Let's go and look for our share button. Go look for your share button, please. You should have your share button near you there, near the video. go look for the share button. And once you find that share button, let's go share it. Once we have shared the link, we'll be ready to go. It's going to be an interesting message today. It's going to be an interesting message today. So you want to go share the link as fast as possible so that we could pick up also very quickly. Okay, go share the link and we'll be ready to go. Go share the link and we'll be ready to go. Okay. All right. Now, the message of today is I'm going to be talking about time or on time for some time. I'm going to be talking about time for quite a while because it's one thing that we all need to discover and we all need to tap into, the grace and the blessings of time. Well, today's message is called Through Work. Through work, you discover the treasure, or we discover, through work, we discover the treasure of life, earth, and nature. That is the message of today. Through work, we discover the treasure of life. Through work, we discover, let me write we rather than you. We discover the treasure of life, the earth, and nature. So through work, we discover the treasures of the earth. Wow, you guys, so much to discover, so much to discover, you can't believe it. So much to be discovered and so much to discover. We have inventions all around us, potentials for invention, potentials for innovation, and potentials for discovery all around us. Everywhere you look, you have it. I mean, if you look at the trees, you have potential for discovery. If you look at the earth, you have the potential for discovery. If you look at the sky, potential for discovery. You look at people, potential for discovery. Our life and the world around us is an innovation laboratory. It's an innovation laboratory. So much potential to discover so much and so many things. How I wish that we would discover the secret of doing it. And that is why you have to begin to thank God for work. That's why you have to begin to thank God for work. Because work is that secret. It's that secret and that power, that gift from heaven, through which we could discover anything and everything that could make our life better and that could make us closer to God. Because when we discover nature, when we subdue nature, we actually move closer to God. We actually move closer to God. So, through work is an instrument of discovery. I want you to write that down. That's one important thing you must know today. Work is a powerful God's gift to us for discovery. Now, okay, so I'm saying for you to, really discover all the beauties of life, for you to discover all the great things that God has put in nature, you need work. Work is that beautiful instrument that God has given unto us for us not to live a boring life. Work is that instrument that through which we don't live a boring life, but through the instrument of work, we make our lives richer on a daily basis. You could enrich yourself daily, both materially and morally and spiritually, through work. Work is an instrument of discovery. Work helps us to discover nature. and the wealth that is hidden in nature. Now, let's go to the book of Genesis. Let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 2. And as we are going there, you will discover that from verses 8, as you are going there, you discover that the reason, and like I told you the other day, yesterday, the reason why God did not send rain to the earth was because there was no man. It's not just that there was no man, there was no man to work. There was no man to work. So only after God created man, and not just that he created man and put him somewhere, but he created him and took him to the Garden of Eden and gave him the instruction to work. Only after man had taken responsibility to till the ground, to till the earth, and to keep the earth, to develop the earth, to nurture the earth, only after that, God let the rain fall. God began to give the rain, and and things began to happen. When there is a person to take responsibility, to work, and not just to work, but to work hard on the earth, every person that discovers the secret of work and hard work, they are people of discovery. They don't live a bored and boredom life. They begin to discover one thing or the other. Let's see how that happens in the Bible, in the book of in the Garden of Eden, in the book of Genesis. So Genesis chapter 2, verse 8, the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. He put the man whom he had formed. He put the man to do what? We were told he put the man to tend and till the ground and to keep it. That's in verse 15. To till the ground. So when the man started tilling the ground and keeping it, let's see the process of discovery began to take place. You remember I said, through work you discover life. Through work you discover the earth. And through work you discover nature. So the process of discovery began for Adam and Eve, because once they put them in the Garden of Eden, one of the things that they began to discover is that the ground upon which they were standing and walking, verse 9, that out of that ground, things began to happen. But before they took responsibility to work, things never happened. Nothing grew from the ground. But once they took responsibility, the Bible says the Lord God made every tree to grow that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. So God began to make everything grow on the earth as long as man began to take responsibility. So that's number one discovery. The earth became an interesting thing. The earth became a fascinating thing for man because they took responsibility. Once you begin to take responsibility for your own sphere of influence, by the way, every one of us should be aware that we all have our own land. We all have our own land of promise. You try it out. Begin to take responsibility for your own land. Begin to take responsibility for your own sphere of influence. Begin to take responsibility for that place that God has called you to bring the kingdom of God to, or to restore for him. You will not believe it. You will begin to discover that there are some things in that land. And what do you mean? How do I know that you take responsibility? How do you take responsibility? Somebody could say, start by researching. Start by studying the land. Start by researching the land. Begin to do research about the needs of the land. Begin to do research about the problems of the land, and begin to do research about how to resolve those problems and how those problems have been resolved by people who have lived before you. Once you begin to study and to research into the land of promise that you are called into, you will discover that there are much more things in that land of promise than you had even thought or imagined before. You'll begin to discover, just like Adam and Eve began to discover here, that it happened that the earth actually is capable of bringing forth trees. That the earth, actually, there is something hidden in the earth. You see, it was only God himself who knew that there was something hidden in the trees. It was only God It is only God that is capable. I mean, that knew that there were seeds on the earth. And they didn't know. Adam and Eve didn't know that, and they didn't know that the earth was supposed to be bringing forth and developing trees, herbs, and plants. But once they took responsibility, they began to discover that immediately, because God began to make sure that the earth was giving birth, or giving rise to trees, to herbs, and to plants and different things. So that is the beginning of the discovery journey of Adam and Eve, because the earth began to give birth to trees and to plants. It gave back to their own curiosity, because it was God who started the process. God made every tree to grow that is pleasant to the earth. And since it was pleasant to them, they now began to discover that actually the earth could give birth something. The earth could give birth to something. That there are things hidden in the earth. That is what you should discover too. There are things hidden in your own earth as well. There are treasures hidden in your own earth. There are treasures hidden in your promised land. Treasures in every land. The earth, the land that God has called you to, especially if you are called to any, it doesn't matter if you are called to the word of medicine, there are, and in your own particular sphere of that earth, there are so much things to discover there. It was just recent, I was so shocked when I discovered that when we say somebody is a medical doctor, it's not really a correct term. Because when you say somebody is a medical doctor, or is a doctor of medicine, even if he has PhD, it's still not accurate. Because when there's so much more to discover in the world of medicine alone. You can't believe it. If we take all of humanity, we have 70 billion people on earth today. If we make everybody to become a doctor of medicine, they will still not have finished studying medicine as a subject. So to say that somebody is a doctor or PhD in medicine is not possible. I mean, can you imagine that all doctors in this world, all medical doctors in this world, if we only make them to be specialists in one area of medicine, that they will still not have exhausted what it means what needs to be known about medicine, about that particular sphere of life. Let's take an optician, for example. Even when you talk, what I mean is that when you say somebody is a doctor or a doctor of medicine, you should ask him the question, what sphere or what area of medicine? It could tell you, okay, optician, or he could tell you, oh, he's a surgeon, or he could tell you he's a general practitioner, or he could tell you he's a doctor that is specializing in gynecology, or something like that. You can only be a doctor specializing in one area. But even in that one area, there's so much more to discover. It's so inexhaustible in human being alone. Can you imagine that? If all doctors in the world have been studying gynecology, only gynecology as a subject, and everybody studying, they would not have even gotten to the bottom of that disease, of that sickness, of that particular part of the body. If all doctors on earth had become doctors on the eye alone, they would not have been able to resolve the problem of the eye alone. So there is so much to know and to discover. There is so much people are still discovering today. If they have discovered everything that needs to be discovered about eyes, then we would have been making eyes. We wouldn't have been using glasses. Even tooth, even if you are a, tooth doctor again, dentist. Even if you are a dentist, you have not. Can you imagine all manner of doctors, dentists that we have in the world? They are still discovering today how to treat teeth. If they have discovered, they won't have been removing teeth. They won't have been putting fake teeth. There are still much more to discover. What am I saying? It is only you cannot say, oh, everything is already ready. Everything is ready. There is nothing more to discover. There are so much more to discover. So much more to discover. Even in those areas of medicine. Can you believe it? I mean, I'm just taking one little thing, eye or tooth, the little things of life that we say it's just so little. Teeth, dentists, even all medicine cannot discover all the secrets behind medicine. I mean, behind the teeth. or even the one single, only eye, ordinary eye. All medicine can still not find the mystery of the eye, because that is why there is always a place for all of us. That is why you are packaged in such a way that there are things for you to discover. There are things for you to discover. Every one of us could be discovering things every minute, and we will still not exhaust the wealth and the things to be discovered on the earth. So this is why this message is so true work. You could open a whole world of discovery. True, and it's not just to discover to make money. Yeah, you could discover things to make yourself rich and wealthy and make money. But even the interest of it, even the fascination of it, of discovering, the wealth of God's creation and God's wisdom, is worth it, because you will never be bored. You will never be bored if you are living in constant world of growth and discovery. You will never be bored if you are constantly dipping into God and into creation. There is so much to discover, and it is because of work that we discover. Only through work you can discover new things. Can you imagine that Adam in this place discovered that the earth could give birth to things, and that there are things hidden in the earth, and of course that is what made him to begin to and that is what, just by discovering that there are things on the earth, that is what leads to agriculture. That is what it's a whole science, agriculture. Can you imagine if the whole world has been studying agriculture today, we would still not have exhausted it. And there's so much to still discover about the earth since the days of Adam. And then it goes on to say, not just grow. Trees were not just growing from the earth, but they were growing to be pleasant to the eyes. Can you imagine? Botany, the whole world of botanical world, the whole world of plants is a whole science today. There are all universities studying botany and botanical science just because, they were just by observing and studying plants and trees. It's a whole world. There is a whole world and a whole science of ecology today, just by observing and by studying ecology, plants, trees. So much to discover. Now, why is that important? Why is that important? Do you know how we came about plane? Do you know why we came across plane? How we get to have plane today? It is thanks to plane that I'm here in Europe from Africa. It is thanks to plane that you are in America, where you are from, wherever. It is thanks to airplanes that were flying all over the world. That idea to have aeroplane, that men could build aeroplane, first came to the heart and to the mind of men. You know how? By observing nature, by discovering nature, by observing nature and discovering nature through hard work. You know how they discovered the science of fly, that we could fly? Because, men discovered and they observed nature and discovered that in nature there are objects that are flying. Birds are flying. That if birds could fly, why is it that we could not fly? Is there any way? And they started studying it through mathematics and through science. They started researching and doing research, and through biology as well. Through research, they cut into pieces. People have gone through different ways to discover why and what is the secret behind birds flying. They cut them into pieces. They measure their gravity, the law of gravity, and what makes them to fly, and why they fly. What are the dynamics behind the flight of birds, and what could be built into, what kind of system could be built to violate the law of gravity and to make flying objects and play. So just because we observe nature, we got the idea that we could also build flying things. So it is through hard work that from observing it goes into working. But observing also is a form of work. But through labor, hard labor, people have been able to come with calculations. People have been able to come with science. People have been able to come with chemistry, with biology, with microbiology. With science, with physics. They have been able to come up with mathematics to calculate the formulas that will be able to, give birth to plane. And that is why we have planes today, by observing nature and by discovering nature. So much for us to discover, man. just nature itself, by life, by observing life, and not observing just by looking, but by working on life, by working hard through work, and even by observing itself. That is hard work already. Through work, we discover the treasure. That treasure of just by hard work, we discover the treasure of flying. By hard work, we discover, through hard work and by observing life, with nature, what God created, we discovered agriculture, the science of agriculture. That's a treasure by itself. Through hard work and through observing of nature, we discovered, the science of, like I said, botany. Through the science, the hard work, the act of hard work and labor, we discover the treasure in medicine. Okay, let me give you another example of the treasure that was discovered through hard work. How do we come to have cars today? Why do we have cars today? Because people, have you ever heard the story or the term, what they call it? Horse speed. Have you ever heard the term horse speed? Horse speed, the speed of horse. That is the term people use when they want to measure the speed of the car or something like that. Well, that should also show you something, because it is through measuring and studying of animals, why animals run faster than men, especially the strength and the force of and the speed of horses, that the horsepower, that's the language. The horsepower is by studying the speed of horses that we came about cars. So that is by observing and studying nature, we discover the treasure of life, the treasure of the earth, the treasure of life is all around us. The treasure of nature, the treasure of the earth, the treasure of life, just through hard work. People worked hard and they gave birth to cars. People worked hard and gave birth to planes. They work hard, through the observers of whales and sharks. That's how we have submarine. So submarine and sheep and all that, it is by studying, the nature. So what am I saying? There is so much for us to discover up to today. All of us can become inventors. And of course, this was all evolving. It was developed over time, one generation to the other, where every generation built on the knowledge and the discovery of the other generation. But we have a better chance right now. If we could work hard, we could discover the latest inventions of life, the latest inventions in every area of life, and begin to add value and begin to study it and add some the spirit of God to it, and add the ability to hear in the spirit and to see in the spirit and to do more research, and we'll be able to discover something. Like I said I'm going to have so many inventions before I die. At least I'm going to have a major invention that's going to influence the whole world. I already have it. I already have an invention that's going to touch every living person on the earth. And that's yet to be unveiled. It's yet to be revealed to the world. But it's a beautiful life that we could live a life of constant discovery just through hard work. That's what I'm trying to say. Hard work and through work, that we have been given a blessing by God, that we should not live a boring life, that we should not live a life of emptiness, that through life we could enrich our own, through work we could enrich our own life, we could enrich the lives of others, we could enrich our own world. Through work we discover things, we live a life of continuous discovery. Through work we live a life of continuous discovery, not just discovering things for ourselves or about ourselves, but we live a life of discovery, of nature, of life, and of the earth itself. Now, going back to that particular place, going back to that Genesis chapter 2, verse 9, when Adam and Eve discovered that trees were growing, they discovered that the trees were also pleasant. What does that mean? The trees have become an object of beauty. Do you know there are a whole science today about landscaping. Is it landscaping you call it? Land planning, landscaping, territory planning. Uh, huh? Yeah, landscape planning, beautification, plant beautification, and how do you call that? But unfortunately, some people are yet to discover that because some people build. When I was in Israel one day, that was an interesting observation. Some of the Jewish people were taking me landscaping, right? They were taking me across some all over Israel. It's not so big. So they were driving across Israel, and they were showing me the difference between houses of Jews and the houses of Arabs, the Palestinian houses and the houses of the Palestinian houses and the Jewish houses. Now, what I discover is that the houses of the Jews and the quarters, the Jewish quarter, I said, how do you know the Jewish quarter and the Palestinian quarter? They said, when you see the quarters where there are so many trees and greens and landscaping and, so beautiful trees and forests and the houses inside, just like I am now. Because you see my house, you see, the trees and, landscaping and the beautiful trees and all that, like you see the trees and the houses meant together and, that is the Jewish houses. Those are the Jewish houses because the Jews, according to this Israeli man that was telling me this, the Jews are, have much more civilized and they are much more, they came from Europe, from America, they came from all over the world. So they are much more advanced in their thinking. They cannot imagine themselves building a house just on sound and not building and not planting, because green trees is a big problem in Israel. So for you to really have trees like this all over planted around your house, it's a hard work. It's a lot of hard work. And you have to really pay the price for it. You have to water it. You have to buy the trees. You have to plant them. It's a lot of work. But, so the Jewish people, they will go through that. When they're planning to build a house, they plan the cost of the trees, the cost of the plants, and they put all that in the budget of the house. And they put the beauty, the landscaping, the beautification of the trees and everything around their houses. And they live, but it's not just beautification. It's also about, fresh air. It's also about oxygen. It's also about better health. Science has proved to us that people who live around trees, around nature, they live longer. Their health is better. And people who live on mountains as well, they live longer. They live better because the health, the oxygen is better. So they were telling me that, but the Palestinians, they don't plant trees. They don't plant trees. Maybe they plant flowers, but not trees around their houses. And they don't do maybe they could do landscaping with flowers, but not with trees and like this, like you see in my house here. And they said because they think it's too expensive. I mean, okay, you better build a house, and they just count the cost of the house and they what to put, the furniture to put inside the house, but they don't really care for what you put outside the house. But it is actually what you put outside the house that lengthens your life, not what you put inside the house. Anyway, but then I discovered, that is important. So what I'm saying is that, what God said here, God has put this in place from Genesis, and even He made that available to Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and they were using trees, not just something to cut down. But you know what I discovered about my country, Nigeria, Africa? I discovered that. Okay, for example, let me give you an example. There is an estate. They always build all these estates in Nigeria. So somebody wanted me to buy a house in an estate in Nigeria, and the house is going to be costing $1 million house. My friends from England, I had some pastor friends who not just pastors but friends from Europe. Many of them have bought houses in this particular estate, and they told me, okay, pastor, you have to have a house in that place because it's well built. And even funnily enough, the builder actually was living in the UK before, and now he's back in Nigeria and building and making a lot of money. One house is $1 million. One house is $1 million, and there are other houses for £1 million. And And when I look, they sent me, I mean, they were all very proud of this estate, and they sent me the photographs, the video, everything, all about, I mean, there are different estates in Abuja, in Nigeria, I mean, in Abuja, in Lagos, everywhere. But what I discovered is that, I said, what? Are you living in a forest? Is this from the desert? Because, God, thank God, I've lived along in Europe to know that that is not normal. What they did is that they go and just clear. These were forests before. These estates used to be forest. Trees were there. So what the people do in Nigeria, they want to build their houses. They go and clear the forest. They go and remove the trees. They go and remove everything, clear the whole place, and just leave sand. I just leave sand and then come and build houses on sand. And then no trees at all around. And then they go and do beautification and landscaping of flowers. But no trees. But flowers don't give you oxygen. Flowers don't give you the oxygen balance that you need. They just do beauty, beauty for the eye. But it's not just for the eye. It's supposed to be for life as well. So I said, but you are going to... Look, in my house here, if you look around me, these trees, you know how old they are? The youngest tree here, the youngest trees here that you are seeing here, the youngest of them is 40-year-old. The ones that are 25 years old, they are not as strong, they are not as big. So we have houses, I mean, these trees are 50-year-old, 80-year-old, 40 years old, 60 years old, 50 years old, 80-year-old. These are the ages of these trees here you are seeing here. They are all around me here. And on the other side of the house, they are 25-year-old, but they are still young. Can you imagine? So, but they are, in this country, there are trees that are 200 years old, and you cannot cut them down. Even when we were building the house here, for you to cut one down, you've got to go and get permission from the government to cut a tree down. Even when you are building your house, even on your own land, in your own land. So here, if you cut that down, you go to jail. You have to go and plant 200 others and still pay for it. So that is preservation. That is how health is preserved. That is how life is preserved. That is how, life is supposed to be, even in the Garden of Eden. But in our place, what I discovered in Africa, we have natural trees. All these trees that are 400 years old, 200 years old. The longer they are, the better for you, for the environment, for the community. And people come around and clean them here and cut the branches and keep them safe and all that. But in some places, we go and take caterpillar and tractor. And in Africa, we go and take tractor and caterpillar and just wipe out everything. Wipe out life. You see, but here the Bible tells us that where in the Garden of Eden, where Adam and Eve were planted, where they were supposed to be living, they had trees as well. They have trees, but who lives on concrete? Only I'm sorry. Only pigs are taken from the soil to live on concrete so that they don't mess up the place. Who lives on concrete? And this is what I've seen with the estates that there people are building in our continent, in our place now. People just go and put concrete and go and put cement and everywhere. They just put cement and concrete. Who lives on concrete? Who lives on concrete? Dogs and cats and sheep and pigs live on concrete. Not human. So, but what I'm saying is that, well, this, even in the Garden of Eden, God made provision for that. But that is just one area of discovery that Adam and Eve had. But it got more interesting. They also discovered that these trees that were growing, they were not just pleasant to the eye, but they were also good for food. They were also good for food. How do we discover that? Do you know all food industry is coming from trees and plants? That's food industry. Our food industry is coming from the earth, from ground, from plant. And when we begin to manufacture food that is not coming from the earth and from the ground and plants, we begin to die. Cancer, you know what science have discovered? Science have discovered that because we are made, with our body, our flesh is made of the earth, from the soil of the earth, because we are coming from the earth, we need to eat something that is closer to the earth. We need to put in something that is closer, that is coming from nature itself. We are from the earth. We are close. So the more you eat from something that is grown from the earth, from ground, the more you eat natural food, organic food, the more healthier you become. That's why when you live among trees, you are closer to the nature. The longer the more quality your life is, the more healthier you are. But when Americans and everybody started doing GMO or something, what do you call it, GMO, and they started manufacturing food that is not from nature, that is the cause of cancer, and that is the cause of sickness. The less you eat of natural food, organic food, the weaker you become, the more susceptible you are to sickness. But the more you eat of natural food, of organic food, the healthier you become. But when you are only eating processed food, you kill yourself eventually. So this is what these people discovered in the Garden of Eden, and that is why the people who eat just natural food. So it's through work, So through work, we could discover more different kind of food and give more. By the way, God had shown me how to do invention through of food material. I don't have time, but I'm looking for a time when I'll be able to gather scientists together and food sciences. There's a food technology. It's a whole industry. Food industry. I want to gather Christian scientists and show them how to discover some of the greatest inventions in food technology. God gave me that discovery, that idea. So what I'm saying is that even though I'm a pastor, but I'm having idea for invention in food technology. I'm having idea for invention in any area. In fact, if you are an inventor or you want to be an inventor, you have to meet with me one day. I will show you ideas and give you strategies on how to I think that right now, I believe that every human being can be an inventor. You could be an inventor somewhere if you work hard. So hard work will make you to discover things. So I'm just saying, what am I saying? That nature is a bed of discovery. Nature itself is out there for us to discover. That's why I made the example that if we cannot even discover, all of us have not even discovered all that is there to be discovered about eye alone. Just one organ of the body, only eye. All medical doctors have not been able to, all of medicine have not been able to discover all that is need to be known about eye alone or about teeth alone. Can you imagine how much is there in nature that we are yet to discover? Can you imagine how much is there that is yet to be discovered in nature? All of us, God has given us a whole world of laboratory, a whole world for exploring. We could explore our world, every one of us, but it takes hard work. It takes hard work in the laboratory. It takes hard work in the library of this world. It takes hard work adding value to yourself. It takes hard work adding value to some products and to studying, to do self-analysis, researches, and self-education. So the whole world is at our feet. We through hard work, there is nothing you could not become. I don't believe in failure. I believe that if you know how to work hard on nature, work hard on life. Take the problem or the question, one question of life, family life. Just somebody wrote me today after yesterday's testimony when the young man decided to take care of his mother and become because he decided to do what I told them, that you have to take responsibility for your mother and for every woman around you, and you have to become like a father to your mother. And that that brought tears to a lot of people. That is just family issues. Can you imagine you just taking responsibility to work on family issues alone? Can you imagine how much light you could bring to the world, how much discovery you could bring to life, how much lessons, how much wisdom you could bring to the whole world? I am a pastor, but despite that, I am expanding myself everywhere. Do you know that I discovered a technology of making myself relevant on social media. I discovered my own technology of how to maximize myself on Facebook and social media. What happened was that I was writing a book, and my publisher, this book, The Kingdom Driven Life, And my publisher in America told me that we need to extend and expand my Facebook base, because I was having 50,000 people on my Facebook. Just last year, I was having 50,000 people on my Facebook last year. Just last year, 50,000 people, a year ago. And this man said, okay, he has some specialists and experts who are working on Facebook publicity, and they could build your image and build your reach on Facebook. And so so they brought me the price, or the cost, what do you call that? So they gave me the budget, so, and when I saw that, so what they said is they could give me I think 300 likes, 300 new likes a month. 300 new likes a month. And for that 300 new likes a month, I pay $600, $700. So you pay $700 for 300 new likes. If you want 1,000 new likes, you pay like $4,000 or so, or $5,000. I told them, what do you mean? What do you do? Oh, they said, well, we'll drive traffic, we'll do this. So I said, how could I be paying for 300? And at that point, I was already having 500 new likes every week. I was having 500 new likes every week. I am having 500 new likes every week all by myself, and without paying any money for it. But you want to take 300 new likes a month, you want to take almost $1,000 from me. And I said, okay. So I sat down on my own, and I developed a technology, how to use social media and how to, use it to reach out to many people. And you know what? That was last year. Last year alone, I was just 50,000 friends. Now, in 1 year later, we are already having half a million from 50,000 1 year ago. And before then, I'd be having Facebook almost for 10 years, I think. No, 8 years before then. I was only, for 8 years, I was only able to have 50,000 friends. And, in 1 year, I moved that from 50,000 friends to 500,000 friends. Now, I am adding more friends, 100,000 more friends every month. 100,000 more friends every month. 100,000 every month. But besides that, that is not even the greatest thing. Can you believe it? My Facebook page now is reaching we have reached, we control 8% of all Facebook. Me, Pastor Sandey Adelaja Facebook, this Dr. Sandey Adelaja Facebook, we control 8% of all of Facebook. Can you believe it? Because we're 85 million people that my Facebook alone reaches. 85 million people. As I'm talking to you right now, people are in churches. There are 48 million people that this my different, not just this one, but different things I do today alone are going to reach 48 million people that are going to be reached through me, by me, just through Facebook alone. I came up with the technology. You see, you could invent anything by hard work and study. You could do anything. People said, oh, how do you write? I've written 300 books. I said, I'm going to write minimum 1,000 books. Why? I came up with the invention, with the technology. If you could work hard, the point I'm just trying to make is that through hard work, that will live a life of discovery. Life will never be boring for you and to you. You will always discover new things. You will discover treasures in life. You will discover treasures of the earth. You will discover treasure of nature. You could zero in on life matters, and begin to study them and do hard work of research and investigation, analysis, and you will discover that there are so many empty fallow grounds. There are so much fallow ground all over the world, in everything. Anywhere you look, there's fallow ground. Anywhere, only there are not too many people who are there working out their socks and working out, themselves to really, to really make their lives into a discovery and to make, life interesting for themselves. You could make life, your whole life, a world of discovery. I mean, somebody was telling me, how could it come to you, Pastor Sandey, to even be teaching that you must be a father to your mother? you must be a father too. Because I studied the subject. Because I studied the subject. How do you come to understand women so much? Because I studied the subject. How do you come to understand families so much? Because I studied the subject. If you will just work hard, people tell me that, Pastor, it's like you understand everything about everything. It's like you understand something about everything. It's like there's nothing you don't know about. Yeah, because if you work hard, everything is out there for you for the take. Hard work will take you to a place of discovery. Hard work will make you to live in the world of treasure all the time, day in, day and night. You will just be living a life of discovery. You will just be discovering treasures. There are treasures everywhere. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There are treasures everywhere. There are just treasures everywhere. There are treasures in nature. There are treasures in people. There are treasures around us. There are treasures in life issues. Like, for example, that's why I couldn't understand somebody who is doing business and is not a millionaire. I couldn't believe it. I just devoted 2 years of my life to studying the subject. And, and I discovered that I could become a millionaire. I did become a millionaire in 9 months. It's so easy. And now the same thing with billionaire. I discovered that I have a strategy that you could become a billionaire in 10 years if you are doing business full time. But I'm not even doing these things full time. If you work hard, if you understand the treasure of hard work, nothing is impossible for you. I did that business. I became a millionaire. I did also then came up with another technology of how to produce other millionaires. Then I discovered that it's easy for you to even produce other millionaires. It's not just for you to become a millionaire. That's easy. But for you to produce other millionaires, that's even much more difficult. So I came up with a strategy of doing that. The same thing could be done everywhere. Also, I know that there are some people who call themselves professors or scientists and they don't have any discovery. How could you be an engineer? Can you imagine people like the Wright brothers? They were not even engineers, they were miners. They were just miners, and then later on, bicycle repairers. And they are the ones who discovered the science of flying. They are the ones who gave us airplanes today. Just ordinary people. And you studied engineering in university for 6 years, and you have not discovered anything in the world of engineering. What are you doing? What did you go to school to do? I am ready to go and discover something in engineering today. If I take my mind to it and I go and study that subject in 2 years, I'm going to come up with a discovery. Even now, I've already come up with a discovery that's going to compete and going to be better than what Mark Zuckerberg discovered. And you went to study this subject professionally. And now it's not 100 years ago when the Wright brothers lived, when there was no technology, no knowledge. Now knowledge is everywhere. If anybody will work hard, you could become a star in anything you wish. Even if they are just going to observe plants. I mean, George Washington Carver, who is one of my heroes, George Washington Carver, he became a scientist, one of the one that saved the economy of America, just by observing plants, just by studying plants, by observing plants. Can you imagine that? Henry Ford, who made, we are living in the world of Henry Ford today. You believe that every individual could own a car and made car available. He was not even an engineer. He didn't even go to university. He didn't go to school. He just discovered, by himself, by self-education, by working hard. He made himself an engineer. And then discovered how to and build car by himself. And change the whole world. Even not going to school, even not having education, even not having the knowledge that we have today. In fact, there is a boy in Malawi. I put it on my blog. A boy in Malawi was just 19 years old or 14 years old when he discovered a windmill. He built a windmill by himself for his own house to bring electricity to his own family. And they built that windmill, then made it larger for his own village and for his own community. A 14-year-old boy, just by a 14-year-old boy, just by he found a textbook on windmill. A textbook. He just found it in the library of his primary school. And he studied the paper. He just spent time, studied it, and started building it from trees. and build wind and supply electricity to its own village. Nigeria is still, we have so many engineers, we have so many, educated people, so many professors, and we are still struggling where to get electricity from. One boy, 14-year-old, did it in Africa, in Malaysia. Another boy in Sierra Leone, 14-year-old, also built a radio station, the most popular radio station in Sierra Leone. Just by studying with his, just by reading textbooks and studying, hard work will make. I don't know why people say they are unemployed. I don't understand. If you will discover the secret of hard work, if you'll be able to work hard, there is no limit to what you could discover. Put your heart on anything. Like I said, I never studied physics. I never studied chemistry. I never even did anything. I was in a village where there was nothing like that. But I studied myself. And I can do anything, in any area. But forget about me. Let's talk about ordinary people. What I'm saying is that treasures are everywhere. Treasures are all around us. Even if you just observe air or alone, oxygen. There is a whole science about oxygen. Just ordinary thing that we take to be ordinary. If you study it, but it takes hard work. The only thing is to work hard. Treasures are in the air. Even ordinary air, there is treasure there. Even the land upon which you are working, there is treasure there. Even if you are going to just study sound and do research about sound, you will discover that you could still discover something that all other people have not discovered yet. Like I said, we humans, we are the most treasured people on earth. And every effort of humanity is to discover man, how to fix man, how to heal man, how to bring about man. And I said all medicine could not even find how to understand one eye alone. There's still much more to discover. That is one eye alone in human. That is, the question of death. We have not even scratched the surface. So much to discover. So much to discover. Even about cars, about everything. There are people now that are working on cars, riding on waters. So much things to discover out there. But what are you using your own life for? I don't understand. Do you just use your life to watch movies and to watch, films and just to laugh about and just joke and then you discover that you are 30 years old soon. Then soon you are 40, then 50, you are dead before you realize it. Why don't you invest your life through hard work? Why don't you discover something? Why don't you do something? Why don't you contribute something? Why don't you challenge yourself? When I discovered that, nobody has ever written 1,000 books before in their lifetime, I said I'm going to be the first one. And I'm on my way. I have a technology that I'm going to write my first 1,000 books in 10 years. And I'm going to exceed it. I'm going to write more than 1,000 books. It's easy. But I'm more interested in more serious things than that. I want to change a nation. I just want to change one nation. I want to change nations. I want to subdue nations for God. I want to raise up men who are deliverers, who are movers and shakers, who are history makers. That is my own area of specialty because that's my calling. But even outside of that, you have so much potential in you. You have so much skills in you. You have so much, so much area in you that is unbelievable. Okay, let's even take mathematics, for example. Have you ever had somebody say professor of mathematics? There is nothing like that, professor of mathematics. If you say he's a professor of mathematics, let him tell you what area of mathematics. Is it algebra? Is it this? Is it that? Is it that? Even in that same algebra, he cannot be a professor there. Why? Because it's so complex that all professors of mathematics cannot even understand algebra to the end. So much more to discover still. So much more. Physics and all that. Hard work will bring you into a world of discovery. Hard work will bring you into a world of discovery. Discovery of what? Treasures. Treasures. I like to discover people. I like to understand people. I love people, man. I love God. I love people. I love people. And I like to serve them, to minister to them, to help them. That is why I'm filling my life with knowledge and wisdom. That is why, I am bringing forth any message of Pastor Sunday you listen to is a discovery, if you have noticed. I don't know if you have noticed. You don't listen to Pastor Sunday and think, oh, I already know that topic. Or even if you know the topic, that you always hear something new. You always hear something new. Why? Because I've given my life to a whole life process of discovery. Do you know that even this message I'm preaching to you right now, I've only done 1%. I still have so many points to make. My time is already over. But at least you got the idea of what I'm trying to say. I still have 19 points I have 20 points. I've just given 1 point. Can you imagine? I've just shared with you 1 point out of 19 today. And I'm going to move on tomorrow to another point. But the thing you must remember is that life is full of discovery, and it is hard work, which is the gift which God gave us to always live in constant discovery. It is hard work that is the instrumentality of the secret for which all of us could live an exciting life. We could live an exciting life through work, hard work. We could live a life of constant discovery. Constant discovery. Because, in that same passage that I was reading, let me just quickly give you that gist. You remember the Adam and Eve did not just discover what the earth can do. They went and kept on working, and as they were working, they discovered what the rivers can do. That there are all science about river, and the river has so much treasure in it. So they first of all discover all the treasure that comes from the plants and from the trees, and then they discover all the treasure that comes from the earth, from the ground. That the ground has treasure in it. So they discover that treasure of the ground. Then they went ahead in verse 10, they went and they said that they saw now a river went out of Eden to water the garden. Now they discovered again through hard work. They were working hard, and they discovered another treasure. They discovered the treasure of the rivers, and they discovered the treasure of the waters. And we are all still studying about water today. Can you imagine that all humanity, we still don't understand 10% about water, about rivers, about oceans? That's why water can still kill people. That's why we still don't have enough water all around us. You could just discover everywhere. Everywhere is a world of discovery. It's not a boring world, my friend. But for that to be true in your life, you must love hard working. You must be hard working. You must love working hard. So they discovered the whole world of waters. Then they discovered the whole world of rivers. Then they discovered that, look at what they did. Through hard work, they discovered that the water could be parted. And they saw the parted water. The water is parted into pieces. That is what science has now done. That we could actually redirect. That we human beings, we could actually redirect the direction of waters. We could actually separate waters. We could actually recover ground. We could actually do artificial ocean. Artificial lake. We could actually do our own artificial lake. We could actually do our own pool. We could do our own, swimming pool. We could control water. We could use water to bring about. That is a whole world of discovery. And that all started in the Garden of Eden. Then they discovered that the water was divided into 4 heads. All these things are keys to discovery. In these things that I'm just reading to you right here now, I have discovered inventions about this idea. That's why the superiority that Christians are supposed to have. When I meet with the scientists, I'm going to tell them the discovery, the inventions that are hidden in this passage of the Bible. The discovery that could be there, the inventions that could come out of this passage. That's the advantage Christians have. And Christians are just going to church and doing religion. We are supposed to be taught how we could read the Bible and bring about the wisdom of Joseph, the wisdom of Daniel, and be able to understand and see things that ordinary people cannot see, and get ideas. Because ideas, everything starts with ideas. And through this thing I'm looking at now, I will tell you what are the inventions I have. And I'm going to teach you how to be able to discover just by reading the Bible. Every area of the Bible you read, you could tune into the Spirit of God and tune into the wisdom of people that have gone before you, and use that passage to become a discovery for yourself. So it's a word of discovery. It's a word of discovery of treasures. Treasures everywhere. My life is just too small and too short, but I already have my own ideas of discovery in different areas. Not just in finances, or in pastoring, or in people management, or in leadership, or in any subject you want to rule in, you can rule in it if you could work hard. But if you discover your own calling, it's even easier. Face your calling, find that area of your calling, and work very hard in the area of research. Don't just live a vain vanity life. People don't remember people who live like that. For you to be remembered for time and eternity, you must, work hard to add something to life, to live a life of discovery. So, apart from the rivers and the waters that they discovered, they went ahead and discovered that in the waters that they could discover treasures. He says, and the name of the first was Pishon. It is one which skirts the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. They started researching more, doing more research, and discovered that water and the land also have gold in them, have treasures in them, have diamonds in them, have treasures, precious stones. They began to discover precious stones. The earth is full of treasures to be discovered, but it's only discovered through hard work. Life is full of treasures to be discovered, but only discovered through hard work. The earth, the nature, is full of treasures to be discovered, but they are only discovered through hard work. And it goes on to tell us all kind of things that Adam and Eve discovered were all around them. And they are all around us today. And Adam and Eve, later on God brought to them the animals and said, name all the animals. That is hard work. But because of their hard work to name the animals, we now know that elephant is an elephant. We now know what is a lion. We now know what is a giraffe. We now know the names of different animals just thanks to Adam and Eve, who were able to name all the animals. That is hard work. Can you imagine? We have billions of animals in the earth today, and they gave names to all of them because they were working hard. Through hard work, you will discover treasure of life, treasure of the earth, treasure of nature. The treasures are all around you. And Christians must be taught not just to be religious and be going to church every week, so Sunday, and not doing anything. What is the proof of your going to church? What have you discovered in the educational sector? What have you discovered in the technological sector? What have you discovered in medicine? What problem are you working on to discover? What have you discovered in pharmaceutical industry? What are you working on to discover? In the world of engineering, what are you working on to discover? In the work of botany, what are you working on to discover? In the work of landscaping, building, what are you working on to discover? What are you working on? What are the treasures you are working on to discover in human relationships? What are you working on to discover in marriages, in families? What are you working on to discover? What are your discoveries about church growth? What are your discoveries about church management? What are your discoveries about the Bible? What are your discoveries about politics? What are your discoveries? What are the treasures you have discovered about the politics of your land? What are the answers you have discovered about corruption in your country? What are the answers you have discovered about infrastructure of your land? What are the answers? What are the answers you have discovered? Hard work makes us to be discoverers. Hard work makes us to discover treasures day in, day out, all day long. We could be discovering treasures. People were asking me that you don't live in Nigeria, so you don't understand what is going on there. I said, I know so much about that country now that I'm afraid that people who are experts on Nigeria might not know as much. And you wait until my next book comes out. Even this my book. Go and read my book on Nigeria. Go and read my Nigerian leadership book. Where is it? Go and read this book. You will discover that I know one or two things about Nigeria because I work hard to discover things. Hard work is the key. It will give you treasures day in, day out. All day long, you will discover things for yourself about life, about God. But the greatest discovery is about God. Why don't you invest yourself in discovering God? Why don't you invest yourself in discovering God? Then you become a revelator of God to your generation. A reflection of His glory and of His nature. Beautiful life to live. Beautiful life to live. What time is it, by the way? I'm sorry. My time is over. My time is over. My time is over. Well, before I go share the link. I think we should share this link if you don't mind. Let's go share this link. Maybe there will be a thought or a word or something that you could take away for yourself. If you share it, you are sharing it with your own Facebook page, and you are going to have a copy of the message on your Facebook page. So go look for the share button, go share it, and then some people who are your friends might be able to see it as well. So let's be people of discovery. Let's be people with ideas, with inventions, I'm so passionate about it. I'm so passionate about it. We shouldn't be helpless people who are looking for a job. We shouldn't be people who don't know what to do. Work hard, and you'll discover that there is nothing you cannot do. Everything is possible for you. Everything is possible. Okay, let me hear your comments now. I want to read some of your comments before we go. What are you learning? What are your decisions? What are your decisions? What are your conclusions? Christina Lampi said, "Oh, I have learned so much about Nigeria, and now I really love that place and their people." Well, maybe you want to go with me to Africa. I'm taking people from everywhere to Africa now. I'm taking everybody to Nigeria with me. Everybody that wishes to go from maybe next year, I don't know, but we just need to pray that I finish my work here, and then I'll be able to go. I'll be able to take all of you. But you need to go and register on SandeiAdelajablog.com, SandeiAdelajablog.com. Register if you are willing to join us, and tell us, just fill the forms. Just fill the forms. Just fill the forms. Fill the forms, and I will be happy to have you with us. Godwin Ibekwe said, "Wow, I have told myself that it's not too late to step up the game on hard work, to add value to the earth, deal with tons and tussles." Yes, sir. Daniel Oshonma said, "They were even there building a tower to reach heaven, and God agreed that nothing is impossible when we apply our mind." Yes, can you believe it? And we now are complaining that there is something we cannot do. Shigo said, "You woke me up." Thank you, sir. Thank you. Joseph Oyewole said, "Life is full of treasures to discover. They are only discovered through hard work." Right. Daniel Oshonma said, "Daniel was 10 times wiser, and he did not have the Holy Spirit as a dead. But we now have the mind of Christ." That's right. Richard Allen said, "Christ put you in my life for a specific reason tonight. Your message is direct to my current fears and ambitions, my friend." Thank you. Thank God. Shiga said, "Oh, my Pastor Sandei, your relationship with God has just sharpened your mind and beyond comprehension. The mind of Christ is at work." Bless you, sir. Oluwale said, "Ideas rule the world." Yeah. Oju Olakwe said, "God bless you for this message. One of the greatest failure of Nigeria and Africa is killing the spirit of curiosity and invention." Yeah, in the mind. Olayinka said, "Life is not just for eating, drinking, and taking up space." That's so true. Olamati, "Hard work is a gift to live an exciting world of discovery. The treasures from plant, air, trees, rivers, and everywhere." Wow. Daniel, "Our mind is a mine of wealth, but we leave them untapped, unfortunately." Coyote said, "We are hardworking, but we are not confident enough to utilize the knowledge." Well, what I need to say about that is that hardworking, when I talk about hard work, I'm not talking about physical work. When I'm talking about working hard, what I mean is working hard mentally. Mentally, there are three forms of work. There are three forms of labor, like I said. The first form of labor is physical work, which is the cheapest and the easiest kind of work. That is only fools work like that, physical work. But the greatest amount of work you could do is the mental work, the mental work. So when I'm talking about work, I'm talking about mental work, intellectual work. And then the other work that is available is spiritual work. But because of spiritual work, you could have an edge. Like because of what Shigo said is absolutely correct. Because of my personal work with God, spiritual work with God, and also mental work. An amount of mental work as well is been able to make me to be sharpened, to be able to have answers everywhere. So mental work and physical and spiritual work, they will make you champion. They will make you to be a discoverer everywhere, anytime. Nosa Favor say, wow, no wonder the Bible says what eyes have not seen and ears have not heard, the Lord prepare for us. Yeah, we're supposed to be bringing those things forth every day. Dear Pere, Dear Pere is saying, since I encountered you, Pastor, my life has completely changed. I'm even struggling to keep up pace with Anton Cross, one of the millions in this world, in this old world, say yes, I believe. And if you discover your talent, God gives you will to live a wealthy and prosperous life. By the way, I will be back tonight again with testimonies, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Nigerian time and 7 p.m. British time. I will be back with testimonies. And and every day I'm here, 7:30 a.m. British time and Nigerian time, 7:30 a.m. Yeah, that's Nigerian British time, and 7 p.m. Nigerian British time. But in America, I'm here every day, 2:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. every day, 2:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. every day. She got said, thanks for paying so much price as such that it's almost a walk in the park for us. We know now, so we must work it out, right? Elizabeth says, all your messages are tips on iceberg, but yet they are mind-blowing. Shigo said, I know what you mean. Everything is a discovery. Wow. Bringing words to flesh. Minta Bear said, glad to hear this. Tina Stephen says, this is what church is supposed to be. When it's finished, people go crazy to use their full potential. When it's finished, people are supposed to go crazy to go and use their potential. You're right. Peter Jonas said, thank you for this timely message. God bless you. Vivian Taylor, yes, mentally is where the hard work is. Mary says, I enroll in the school of hard work. Tina says, thank God for this word of wisdom. There are many discoveries to be made which will add value to life. Paul Eric says, your teaching is creating so much hunger and thirst in me to explore, discover, and to do research. So much work to be done. Kike Moronke, this message has given me more fuel to pursue and bring all my ideas to fruition. Thank you, Pastor. Jennifer said, thanks for the message, sir. Akimbo Wale Sandey, hard work is the key to unlimited discoveries. A little sleep, a little slumber causes poverty. Work is the secret of prosperous life. Yep. Matthias said, thanks for speaking direct to my spirit to discover more in life through hard work. Daniel said, we have treasure in us that is dormant. We are not made to be stagnated. The spirit man in us needs to be put to work. Tony Harmony said, thanks, Pastor. Complacency is a terrible disease. That's the major problem. Once people get a good paycheck, that's it. Boniface Hart says, hard work makes you to go beyond the natural mediocre mentality. Shigo said, my mind is geared now to discovery in everything is jam-packed with potentials now. Wonderful. Ufoma said, I receive grace for hard work to make discoveries. Life itself is a treasure. Rochelle White says, I've noticed one word you use a lot, and that's discovery. I have discovered so much listening to you. Thank you so much. Fumi Jaboda, life is full of treasures to be discovered, and they can be discovered through hard work. Olukayode said, there is no clearer detail why people should embrace work. Pastor Sandey, you have nailed it. Uju Olakwe, discovery through hard work. Thank you, sir. Meame Abha, wow, this is a true world changer forum in our lives. Will never be the same again. Thank you so much. And our lives will never be the same again. Christina Lampe, oh, I have learned so much about Nigeria, and now I really love that place and the people. Okay. Jennifer Tamba said, God bless you more, Pastor. God is great. Yep. Ikpemi Dayo said, pathological ignorance needs holistic surgery of the kingdom message you are teaching us. Comfy says, see you later today, Pastor. Listening to is a blessing to you. Boniface said, thank God for sending you to our generation. Lalon Adebayo said, I have to start self-development in order to come up with a new discovery through hard work and research. Elizabeth says, Pastor, I used to think school is not my thing because of past educational failures, but now I know if I work hard mentally, there is nothing I cannot do. Right. Mary Mugure, now I understand why God says he will give us the hidden treasures he already has given us in his word. Oluwole Adebi said, God bless you, sir, and thank you for your inspiring message this morning. Shoni Raolayemi says, it's mind-blowing and revolutionary. Yvette, can people who are living in Nigeria also link into your trip and vision? Yes, they can. Shoni Ran says, please, people, go and get Pastor Sandey's book, Church Shift. It is mind-blowing, she says, and revolutionary. This is a church shift. It's on Amazon and it's on, I think, Okada Books. Kayode said, I'm praying for your vision to be Joseph, Moses, and Joshua. Thank you. Shonira says, I've started my development process. TY said, thank you so much. Too much, unparalleled. Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody. I have to go now, but I'll be back tonight, and I'll see you tonight. And we'll continue with the testimony, and then we'll take it from there. God bless you guys. Bye.